preach to me, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna preach. And you gonna listen!
You're damn right. I'm gonna preach, and your ass is gonna listen. Yo, check this out. Why I'm not on my own screen. Bruh. Come on, there we go. Man, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. So I was sitting here thinking to myself, I said, man, I want to spruce it up a little bit, my little presentation, make it more fluidic, make it more interesting as far as the outline items, like the beginning and the end. I mean, my content is the content. It's real content, you know. It's just a spattering of thoughts, ideas, concepts, solutions at the end, because T.M.K. Media is a solution-based platform. We don't just come on and bitch and complain. We try to get down to the meat of things, and we try to, you know, come up with some ideas at the end. Anybody can complain, right? So, you know how it is. I'm out here. It's a Saturday night. And again, this is an impromptu live. Didn't plan this. It just came about. And you know the whole premise of the show is to give you an alternative, something else to listen to other than the usual bullshit. You know, so I'm keeping it a buck. You know, kind of had a late lunch, whole lot of Indian food from the buffet. So, you know, me and the queen, we ain't get to go out this evening. So I'm here with you to talk to you, to kind of put some few things on your mind. And you know, boy, did not get an earful. So I was going to start off with this whole thing about channels and new directions. I said, and I learned something, y'all. I said, and I know we joke about that. We always say taking a channel in a new direction, doing new things. I put up some posts talking about moving things in a new direction as far as trying to make it a more general space without the usual bullshit, you know, is what we're trying to do here. Now, I realized something. I learned something because I was out here cruising on the YouTube avenues, and my travels took me to some channels, and I found myself putting up some posts. I was all on my wall, and it seemed and sounded kind of reactionary. And then I had an idea. Ding, ding, it went off in the head, and it was like this. Yo, if I'm going to do live presentations, right, or content that's more generalized, more of an open convo, then that means also my posts, my visit, the chats, the things that I type, where I go, what I say should all be surrounding the same message. In other words, you can't be on your channel and be all serious, you know, or you trying to really put it down and have an adult conversation and then go somewhere else. And then whereas, you know, you're out there, you know, acting a complete messy ass fool. You gotta pick a side. But I can understand the attraction of that, you know, being around here, it kind of draws you in, you know, where you find yourself caught up in the shenanigans. Now, we all like to laugh, we all like to joke, we all like to do these things. But we have to make sure that we're not doing it in a toxic way. Or if you choose to, that's your prerogative. Or if you want to engage and you don't want it to be, you know, toxic for yourself, then you just gonna have to, you know, you got to be all one way or the other. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with good-natured fun, but you got to understand where you are. See, I'm learning, or I have learned, that around here on BlackTube, it's not a whole lot of good-natured fun. You know, you could poke fun, but people ain't trying to laugh, and it's more so they taking it serious, you know. So, you know, I'm my own person, for real. I'm not an allegiance to, I'm not aligned with anybody else. I'm not down with a team, a crew, or nothing like that. I'm a man, you know, I stand on my own, even though others might tend to differ, which I found out. I was going to talk about this, but I come to find out people think otherwise. Well, you can prove me wrong or not. It don't matter, because either way, you know, like what I tell y'all, when you wake up in the morning, you got to know who you are. Now, the trick is you come on here, your alter ego tends to get caught up where you're projecting someone else. Like you might come on here, suddenly you're a millionaire with high-end vehicles and condos and all these things. Man, you're in the dream world. You know what I'm saying? And then so you gotta know who you are. Welcome, brother of a certain age. It's Saturday night, man. Probably not my most popular night. You know, I think some news is going around, but not really interested in that. So you got to make up who you are. Now, see, here's the thing. For those of us that are out here in the real world, where we have careers, we have families, we have things going on, events, all kind of things. That's real life in the real world. Now, that doesn't leave us a lot of time to come on here. Now, this is what, my 4th time this week coming on, because I said, I was told, and I'm going to keep saying it, and I want to thank the individual that, impressed this upon me to be part of the solution and not the problem. So here we are, back, day 4 with a quality show. Might not be the most popular, but you know what? Don't matter. Quality over quantity, baby. I wasn't born to win no popularity contest. So here I am. Like I said, you know what, though? I got a question for the listening audience, because some of you will catch this on Sunday morning on the replay, which I did consider doing, but that's more of my day of spiritual reflection. So I will not probably be doing a Sunday morning show. How long does somebody remain offended? No, seriously. Someone did something to you. They said something to you. They criticize you, disrespect you. How long do you hold a grudge? Is it dependent upon what they said? Is it how long or how many times they said it, the duration? Because just, out here through BlackTube, I always just wondered that. Do you wake up in the morning and calculate all the people you had? Even before you say, damn, it's nice that I can see the sunshine. My eyes work. I can hear the birds chirping. It's a blessing to have hearing. I could feel my leg went to sleep. It's a blessing to have a nervous system that's functioning. It's a lot of people that can't do that. Or do you wake up and check your phone and think about, what are they doing on BlackTube, and where are all my ops? Is any of my ops live? Let me go check their shows and their walls and their posts and all the bullshit, so that I may have some reason to be negative or something to push against. Jesus, is that what we're doing? So that was one of my questions, because I always have a lot of questions. I'm the black ass Andy Rooney around here. How much bandwidth does an individual use in their mind to, like, first of all, how many people are you offended by on BlackTube? How many people, and how much bandwidth of your brain is being used up to maintain the level of negativity? And then another question. Did you just say defraud and charlatans? Who is Andy Rooney? Man, Andy Rooney, like, he used to be on, man, you really gonna make me, anyway. So Andy Rooney from 60 Minutes, he says, what really bothers me is, why do people call them outhouses when they're really outside the house? They're not a house at all, but you know what? Why do they make white chocolate? It's not the color of chocolate. It doesn't taste like chocolate. Nobody eats the stuff. It's kind of like that fruitcake you get at Christmas. It's the dessert or treat nobody wants. You never heard of Andy Rooney? Did I just do a good? Look it up and tell me if my impersonation was on. I would really like to know. So anyway, but see, that's the cool thing. See how we can just shift? You ain't always got to be serious, man. It's okay to laugh. You know what I mean? And I like to laugh. And I told myself, I want to be on a channel where we can have topics, discussions, and we can laugh without all the emotion. So back to my little thing. So what could you do if you didn't walk around all day hating on, being bothered by all these people? What could you do with all the extra energy you got? Let me flip to this comment real quick, because we're going to do this. This is very impromptu and informal. T.M.K, I want you to I know you want to kumbaya with everyone. Unfortunately, that's not possible. Bro, I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad. Yo, check this out. Check this out. it ain't even about kumbaya. Matter of fact, that's the topic. I was actually that was my next point. Matter of fact, I just said it. What could you do if all of the, the bandwidth was freed up from like hating? So here's the thing. It's not like I'm on a heal the world tour where I'm going out looking for people to be friends with. Like, I'm not saying like, oh my God, how you doing? I know we didn't get along, but I just really want to be your friend. No, it's not that. I had to also, part of this equation in my mind about what's taking up bandwidth, I had to be honest with myself. I said, yo, I told y'all this on another live. I said, yo, I was walking around in the daytime in my city, in my world, and yo, is my auntie really trying to video call me right now? This heifer who can't work that phone, she done figured out everything. Damn, she good. Oh, auntie's blocked. Y'all, she calls me 80 times a day. But anyway, check it out. So first of all, I had to start with myself because I always feel like, remember I said earlier a minute ago how easy it is to point fingers at people and find fault, but why we never go to the mirror and find fault with ourselves, right? Yeah, nah, man, I love that woman. But bruh, I'm sorry, did I say that out loud on here? So anyway, I'm walking around in the daytime with masked up, mad at somebody on the internet, And I said to myself, yo, what the hell are you doing? Like, you got all these blessings in your life and you walking around here twisted up over a blip on a screen, a collection of pixels and flares of light. You really triggered by that. So then we had to fix that because that's crazy. Like, what do you look like? Matter of fact, I found myself talking about BlackTube, and I know my loved ones is looking at me like, yo, really, you on the screen? You start to feel stupid when you talk to your family enough, they start knowing the characters. Then you got to be like, yo, you got to have a life. I need to be doing something else. So I said, you know what? Self, it's time to do something else. So check this out. In order for me to relinquish my attachment to being offended by people online, I also have to relinquish my attachment to fighting their ideas, fighting them, resisting them. So it's not more so kumbaya, it's more so I'm not offering resistance. Because as you can see, make a change. You were there. You heard some of the narrative spinning. Well, I think you're this, and I think you're that, and I think you probably this, and see when you get all the I thinks and the probablys and then what's the other go-to? Well, you typed something 2 years ago. Man, look, I'm not doing that. I don't even want to talk about that. That's why I just simply said, I made my point. I said, yeah, but today is a new day. So yeah, I know 6 months ago I said something crazy. A year ago, I wrote something offensive. 3 years ago, I sang something somebody didn't like. I mean, come on. So what we're doing, we're moving on. And these challenges that I offer folks is to say, yo, what about all the bandwidth you using up? Like, yo, really though? See, to me, it seems like a lot of us, and I said this before, man, we dark inside. We got a lot of pain. I mean, yo, what would it be like if you walked around your town and all you did was follow around older people with canes and walkers and wait for them to trip and fall? Like, what would that? You would probably say that's a pretty sadistic person. I would say the same thing. Like, if you come on the internet and all you look for is bullshit, people getting torn down, lives ripped up, docs shredded, like at some point I got to ask myself, what am I doing in the insane asylum? So I said, yo, guess what? I'm gonna crank something up that's not in the insane asylum. Matter of fact, I even had a new revelation this evening, which surrounds, guess what? I'm not going to interact with those in the asylum either. Because I just said that earlier. I said, you can't be over here, like I'm over here talking all this logic and carefree fun and joking and having, belly aching and releasing endorphins and feeling good. And then I turn around and all of a sudden I'm wallowing in darkness again, So I found myself going back and forth with a younger man. And I'm starting to think that, hey, what I'm doing might not be humorous. I'm tapping on nerves. I'm looking on my wall. I'm tapping on nerves. I'm making songs. I'm tapping on nerves. And that's kind of like not the effect I'm going for. I done already been there and done that. We know I can do it. We know it can be funny. We know these people don't have that skill, which is what it really all boils down to, as I stated earlier. We sit around here and, you got entire shows going on where folks is like talking about everybody else and their accomplishments. Well, y'all know who was talking about, who does that. I mean, we ain't got to go into it because this show ain't about that. They talk about everybody else and their accomplishments, but they don't have no accomplishments. Their shit is like fake, simulated. So, at the end of the day, I got to say I had to be the bigger man because it's like, yo, if you already know that somebody down, what good is it for me to kick somebody that's down when they weak? So guess what? Instead of doing that, I'm not going to do the goofy shit no more. I done did it 82 times. I'm going to start maybe getting back to making some original music and doing some things. Matter of fact, and speaking of that, I just looked up Andy. I got to say he's funny in a different way. He did a day people versus night people skit for daylight savings. That's funny. Yeah, Andy Rooney. I don't think he's alive anymore. Welcome, Hoodie React. See, even Hoodie was on the big screen. Like, man, his comedy, he ain't funny. And at some point, y'all, you know how I feel about this trolling shit, right? 98% of the trolls ain't trolling. 98% of the trolls are dead serious. They haters. They sound like the mad rapper off Biggie's first album. Fuck that. I know I'm doper than him. I know my lyrics better than him. Fuck out of here. Who's buying that shit? You know what I mean? So that's what you're going to get. But see, when you hang in an area where you're dealing with a lot of people, and I've asked this question before, and this is going to sound arrogant, but I don't give a F. I've asked the question, if you are a professional, you got your shit together, right? You out there taking care of your business, you know what I mean? You just got your wife's wedding ring redone, and she, oh my God, it's a brown diamond. She like, it look like it's chocolate, whatever. You doing your thing, and your baby girl, she getting out of school, and you, man, I told this little girl I was gonna get her a car. She looking at BMWs. You thinking like, damn, y'all got stuff going on in your life. You about to deploy, you going back on a second tour, whatever you got going on, And then here it is, you find yourself online with somebody that's the complete antithesis, the opposite of what you are, and you putting up with their bullshit. You getting trolled by them, roasted by them, a dirtbag, low life, have nothing, do nothing, never did nothing, won't did nothing. I did say this was going to sound a bit arrogant, now didn't I? Right? And then on top of that, we give them our money. We get these fools we out here working hard as shit. They sitting home all day and be demanding cash out of people like they do something so fucking great. What do? You do nothing but talk about other people's shit, use other people's content. Other people's story of the day, you beat that shit to death. How many lives can you do about the same topic? Get a goddamn life. Get some experiences. The fraud, you military, right? You seen shit around the world. You can talk about that. You can tell people, the fraud, tell them, yo, they dip in the Netherlands, they dip French fries in mayonnaise and shit. In Denmark, they put the shit in vinegar. See that weird shit nobody cares about? But we know they do that in Europe. I don't know about you, but a fillet of fish is nasty as shit in France. I think they actually get it out of Champs-Élysées. I think they get it out of the damn river, yo, and just throw it right on the bread with the tartar sauce. But see, who knows weird shit like that? The fraud, no. He ate at McDonald's in Japan. The fraud, tell him. In Japan, they got liquor in the McDonald's. Yeah, you can go into McDonald's and get a vodka and tonic and a Big Mac. Bruh. They got shit over there. They got items on the menu we don't have over there. They got like all kinds of weird shit. But see, that's what I'm saying. You would never know that if you never leave the basement or your baby mama's the kids' room when they go to school and you in there with your little iPhone going live. You would never know that if you did it every day. And it's not really bragging. I'm just saying the point I'm making is not saying we better than anybody. I'm just saying we got life experiences. So why would somebody waste 5 minutes arguing with a dirtbag about nothing? You know what I mean? Why is we gonna give our hard-earned money up for nothing? You know what I mean? Now, Some folks on BlackTube are very entertaining. They're charismatic, they're funny, they're entertaining, they're interesting, thought-provoking, and it's not the same crap. I talked about this the other day. I'm not gonna go into the whole well, we need as a sector, we need to change some things. I'm over here changing things. I'm not telling nobody else to do nothing they ain't supposed to be doing. QT, I don't understand it. Sorry, I'm trying to flip these comments at the same time. Oh my God, Clark A is here. That's how I'm saying it, Clark, from that. It's Clark A. It's all French and smooth and shit. Every time I do tell people my experience, I get about someone, they tell me to shut up in many words. Exactly. See, that's the hate. They don't want to hear it. I haven't been, I'm living over here on I'm over here on Myrtle, I'm over here on Fulton and Nostrand. I ain't never been outside a 4-block radius, but if you talk about that, I feel threatened. So I can't I don't want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm hating on you because you know things I don't know. Instead of humbling themselves and just simply saying, bro, can you tell me about your experiences? And here's the thing, y'all. It don't matter how old you are in life. You can go have some experiences, It's okay. But I understand sometimes I think the internet is the worst thing ever, especially YouTube, like going live, because we get to sit on here and put up these big bad personas until somebody docks you. Well, let me help you with that. I'm a licensed, trained professional, right? I make hella mistakes. My family has made hella mistakes. It's a lot of bones in the closet. Who cares? I would say who cares because that means I would have to give weight to people online, don't know, never met, won't know, don't know their names, can't tell you what they look like, probably will never see, don't care to see, and really got to come on here and validate myself and explain myself because I had a downfall. I was going to talk about something, but not in a way. As a matter of fact, we're talking about people's downfalls right now. I'm not talking about it. Yeah, let's talk about the rel for a second. 1,000. See, the second is over and I'm on to some other shit. Because why? It don't matter. You know why? Yo, another man in his personal business don't really interest me. So much more going on in the world. And on top of that, I was never envious of this individual to the point where their downfall somehow tastes delicious in my mouth. No, it don't. It don't. And I don't care. I feel like this, Sergeant Friday, just the facts, man. Not no speculation, not no blips and blurbs. If y'all gonna go into something, let it be facts. And then on top of that, who cares about the facts? That's something between them and their family. Over here, we ain't doing that. We not doing that. We not doing that over here because why? It's no need to be shamed and embarrassed on a video screen. Who finds that enjoyable? Raise your hand. Who finds? Now I know sometimes y'all we ain't have much of a choice and we had to kind of just fall in line with that's going on. With people being shamed and embarrassed, and it was like, oh my God. See, the thing is how it works is you're in a chat, there's some other people surrounding you. They might even be the content creator or whatever. So y'all have a difference of opinion, right? They say potato, you say potato, right? All of a sudden, this escalates into an argument that then becomes emotional. Now I can't stand you because you shut me down. You said something smart. You ever see it? You ever see how sometimes for example, two of the women will start talking, and then all of a sudden the slur get thrown, then the other slur, then it be full on, you raggedy bitch, and all of a sudden it just blows all out. See, and then all of a sudden now these two are hating each other. They never met, don't know each other, what have you. And then when one of them gets exposed or there's a downfall, then suddenly she's like celebrating. Like, yeah, that bitch, I knew she wasn't all that, and I knew she wasn't all that. Man, check this out. I don't know, I guess. But I don't want to do that. I don't want nobody in here ever being exposed, embarrassed. It's a lot going on. And there are people that are doing things. Propane dropped the whole album, complete, total fire. Man, I was jealous because it sounded so good. I remember, I was jealous because every time he played the beat, I was like, damn, why ain't I think of that? Damn, why ain't I do that? And I can't go do it now because it's already done. It's a producer thing. So definitely, man, I was like, why didn't I think of using that jazz loop or whatever? But so that's what's up. Hoodie's out doing his thing, migrating into stand-up. Like I heard somebody say that I think it was Gates the other day, getting better every show. Yo, he's what do you call that? It's a phrase, something about chops, sharpening something. I don't know, but it has to do with working out your routine. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's up. So definitely, we're here to celebrate. Not hate, but celebrate those who have accomplishments. That's what it's about. Being successful. And then we gonna pop up one day. He gonna be on the Tonight Show. And we like, yo, we know him. You know what I mean? You know him. Whatever. So hopefully he makes it that way. And hopefully we can all get tickets and fly out and do a real offline thing. Not like some people we're not gonna talk about. Oh man, damn, I honestly lost my train. Sometimes I go on a tangent and I be like way off, and it's hard to get back. Yo, that happens when you get older. I don't know how old y'all folks is, but I just pumped some vitamin D. Yo, check this out. So I was given a challenge. Why'd I find myself talking about this? I don't want to talk about my challenge. I have questions. I cannot, will not, and do not understand why do men on the internet insist upon bragging about and offering challenges to show prowess in a material way. Yo, what would I look like being here over half a century, sword fighting on the internet about who owns the most material? My money is in the bank where it belongs. My retirement portfolio is invested where it belongs and will be securing my retirement in about 5 years. Anyone who takes their money from family assets to bet or gamble with some fool who obviously has no career or anything to lose is a bigger fool, just to avoid being called out. Stop coming on the internet and bragging about shit, without an explanation or a well-planned demonstration. So if you're going to put something out there, be prepared to teach it. So nah, we don't do that over here. Now see, anybody that's in a situation or got a family, you would look like a complete asshole pulling out 50 or 100 grand to go prove something. Man, can you imagine going there to your loved one, your mate, the person you share the bed with, if you got that person, and say, hey, I'm gonna need to go into that Vanguard account and pull out about $30,000. Well, what you doing that for? Well, it's this dude on BlackTube. He said that he don't believe I got it and that I can. So let me tell you something. If that person don't smack the shit out of you, I will. You coming there with some goofy ass stuff like that, talking about you gotta go prove something to somebody in some other goddamn town you don't know, never met. You know what I mean? That's how stupid that sound. So now, of course, those folks will tell you it's just because you ain't got it. You ain't. You know what though? Then I don't have it. You right. I ain't got it. I don't have it. I don't count. See, I don't count none of that. I would like to sit here and tell you, oh, I can go cash out $1.2 million. Yeah, but see, the thing is, you do that, right? Then there's the taxes. Then there's an early withdrawal penalty. Then there's these. So all of a sudden, your money shrinks down to nothing. You'd be, anyway. In other words, net worth calculation isn't always what you have in the bank. And you can't count your primary residence. That don't count as part of net worth, even if you own it outright. But see, we're not here for all that. We're not here to just, like to say, sword fight. Two dudes just waving they Johnsons around sword fighting and shit. Nobody's doing that. Because see, like I said before, you're going to find out real quick that material success is not the spice of life. See, poor people, and by the way, that's us, y'all. There's two kinds of people in this world, poor people and rich people. If you're not rich, you're in the other group. And no, well off, I don't know what the hell well off is. Well off means one medical bill, then your ass is in the poor group. So anyway, us poor people, we aspire to be rich because we think somehow it's going to solve all our problems. Now, I ain't going to lie, y'all. A few $1 million will solve some problems. That shit I ain't going to lie. I would love to just wake up tomorrow and be done working. Yo, I estimate 3.2 million tomorrow means I don't got to work no more. I already done ran the calculations. 3.2 million, drawing down about 4% annually. That's enough for me to be comfortable. Okay. And then guess what? When I pass on the glory, you get the 3.2 million to your grandkids. And you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna all buy houses and they're gonna educate themselves with that money. And you know what? They're gonna start out in life way ahead of you with no mortgage and no student loans. So now guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna invest a lot more over their lifespan, and they're gonna give their grandkids 4 times as much as you gave them. And it's gonna keep going on and on and on, generational wealth. All right. So, wow. Anyway, I started to dip off into the financial stuff. And you know what though? In all fairness, I did make a statement. I said, man, if y'all got some form of expertise, you should be coming on here sharing that. You should be sharing your skills. Now I know most people are they don't they find that to be boring. People don't want to hear about that. But it's funny though, we do have a lot of professionals and very experienced people here on BlackTube, and I'm like, why don't we see more of that? And I'm talking about from the experts, not fake gurus and people like masquerading. They went on Google, did their little thing, and then they decided they was going to come on and push themselves. Matter of fact, 2 lives ago, I think I was talking about that. I was talking about these online financial investment gurus and how they are not licensed. They don't have the skills, and they come on and they do, they push themselves off selling things to you. And it's a kit. They want something from you, Did I drop that link? Oh, damn, look at this. I'm sorry, y'all. My comments ain't moving. Let me catch up on a few. Sorry. I don't know D. Durrell. I don't want to look him up. I don't want to look up his court case in Pacer. If it's real, tell me and I'll move on. That's his life. He did nothing to me. I don't find it as interesting. You know what though? What kills me though? Why is it that is highly important? That's like, oh my God, it's news of the day. But all the other rapists and murderers and everybody else around here, we say, why does no one cares about what they do? Why is it that popular people can be like career goddamn criminals, but a person that actually was not a career criminal, have a business, all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, this is like the holy grail. Everybody's mouth is watering. Hey, ProPlay. Oh, snap. Raw Honest Tea is here. Can you really shame someone if they don't care? I think everyone saw whatever they think will hurt, and none of it does to keep it a buck. People have tried me. I laugh at people because, man, listen, I wish, you know what though, Raw, the worst thing about being live is when you read a comment and then you forget what you were saying when that person typed the comment. So you like, it's out of context because I'm trying to like match it up to what was I saying when that went on. So I got to go back and write I got to go back and watch my own damn replay, and then it'll be too late because you'll be gone and I won't be able to respond. Speak easy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Beautiful one is here. Beautiful, did I say hello to you? If I did not, I sincerely apologize, my beautiful one. Yeah, so check this out. So yeah, oh man, we got 12. Well, we rolling with the 12. All right, y'all, check this out though. Crash course, right? Because I did say experts need to talk about, or professionals need to talk about professional things they into. Now, so it's been a lot of scuttle around here, and please forgive me, y'all. Y'all probably gonna get real bored for a few minutes. So, it's been a lot of scuttle about finance, right? And matter of fact, I'm gonna save that. We're gonna talk to Mike. Mike just saved me from this destruction because I was about to put the whole chat to sleep. I'm part of the boring network. F23, what's happening?
Man, just chilling, man. Just taking it easy, day by day.
I feel you. Yeah, man, I'm up here on Tremont Avenue on my iPhone going live selling Lucy's out here on the corner. It's getting a bit chilly. I'm about to pack it up and go in,
Nigga said Tremont.
Yeah, I'm up here on Tremont selling Lucy's. I'm, and the rollers, they keep riding by, so I don't know what they might try to harass me, shake me down, Cause these New York cops, yo, they'll take your money like it ain't
What you know?
nobody business.
What you know about Skakey?
About who?
Skakey.
Like Skate Key, like Street King #9s, the steel skates.
Nah, like you, okay. In the Bronx, you know, there used to be a roller skating thing.
Oh, okay, my bad. I thought you said
Yeah.
Skakey. I thought you was talking about that one lady I used to see down at the White Stone Hotel when I used to come to town.
No.
The White Stone. Soundview, stand up.
Yeah. I used to chill there sometimes, but I used to chill at Hoe Ave.
Yeah, they remodeled it. They remodeled the White Stone back in the day when I was going. It was
That's
nice.
crazy, right?
Pool tables. Huh?
No, I'm saying that's crazy. How you call the hood the avenue Hoe Avenue type
I didn't
shit?
say that. You said that.
No, but it's it exists in the Bronx type shit.
Okay, I'm confused.
Yeah,
You saying
Hoe Avenue.
Hoe Avenue?
Yeah, you could Google that. That exists.
Oh, she's beautiful saying Hunts Point Avenue.
Yeah, but after that it says Hoe Avenue.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's be a lot of ladies standing out there, you know.
No. You could Google that. It's an avenue.
Oh,
Trust me.
really?
Yes. You could
Wow.
Google it.
Wow. Shout out to the BX.
I kid you not.
Shout out to the BX. Yeah, that used to be my hangout spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, yeah, no doubt. Like I said, y'all, AOL 1.0. See, that's what opened all this up because AOL 1.0 came out. Then we had the chat rooms and stuff, and then you meet, yo, send me a pic, man. I ain't got no scanner. I ain't got a scanner. That was the thing. Nobody had a scanner. You had to go to Kinko's and scan your pictures and put it on the disc, and then they send me a pic for pic. Send me a pic. Where you at? I'm over here. And then everybody lied on AOL. It was talked about this before. Everybody on the internet was liars back then because when you go to see people, all the women was like overweight and all the men were short. And this is like each sex complaining about the other one because all the women say all the men lie about their height. They be like, my one homegirl Debbie, she said, man, I was in love with this dude, man. She said, I drove all the way from like Teaneck, New Jersey, all the way to Queens. I thought he was a god. And then I got there, he was 5'6". Y'all was rolling. And all the women would lie about their weight. But you got to understand, after you done drove 4 hours, guess what? You don't really give a F. Ain't that right, Mikey?
Crazy work.
Mikey don't care. Mikey said, girl, I drove all the way. Mikey said, I drove all the way from the Bronx. I took the train from the Bronx to Trenton. Shorty, me and the 300 pounds is going down. Ain't that right, Mikey?
Yeah.
Mikey said he ain't kicking out the bed for eating crackers. He came a long way. He's going to have to, lay heavy. He going to have to put some work in.
I used to walk the train state, walk the tracks, me and my boy.
Used to do what?
I used to walk the tracks, the train tracks.
Wow.
No cap.
Yeah.
No cap. Me and my boy. Instead of,
walk them to where? Like to a destination?
Yeah, instead of, doing all that before the subway surfing. We used to walk the tracks.
Y'all used to go through tunnels?
Yeah.
Yo, god damn. I thought I was a renegade.
Yeah, and Mikey, shit, he done survived it.
Propane said, I'll turn my dumb ass right back around. Not when she got a hot plate of paella and some coquito. Guess what? Yo, Lisette, I'm going to be staying the night.
Yeah.
I go back to Baltimore in the morning. Yo, it's the food, son. It's the food, son. It's the food.
They telling on themselves.
You gotta do it. Yo, this was back before I got with Jesus.
Yeah. Okay.
See, I used to hit 95 north to go home. Now I'm tricking for Jesus. So, yeah, no doubt. So, yeah, yo, the original, they didn't even call it catfishing then. I don't know what it didn't, we didn't even have a name for it. It was just like, oh, well, it is what it is. And then sometimes you hit the jackpot. Sometimes they was who they said, but
Crazy
then they
work.
was crazy. Then they was crazy. We were again in the Bronx. We riding around over, Fordham Road, and all of a sudden, chicks start having 4 different personalities. Talking about, why are you here? I want you here. I love it when you're here, but why are you here? Oh my God. I'm just like, shorty, what kind of pills? Haldol, 900 milligrams. Oh my God, let me out the car. Yo.
Crazy work.
But so sometimes you can't see mental illness in the photo. All you know is like, damn, this J-Lo. And you get there, you find out J-Lo is loco. But
That's a
anyway,
fact.
that's back in the day. Nowadays,
Yo,
y'all
let
messing
me tell
around.
y'all. Let me tell y'all.
Nowadays, you'll mess around, get murdered.
Yo. Guess what I found out earlier. It's
What you
crazy
found?
work.
What you
Crazy work. Crazy work. Crazy work. So the chick I used to mess with, right? The chick I bushed, whatever, right? So
Not
look,
the
but look.
mush.
All right.
So I called my cousin. She said, you know what happened to her? She got, I don't condone this, I don't condone what happened. You feel me? It's fucked up, but it is what it is. But she fucked around and messed with the wrong dude, and just it is what it is. You know, you know what I mean? She thought the dude was a sucker type shit, and she found out what she found out. You know what I mean? That's what my cousin told me.
Yeah, that's sad though. So
Yeah,
Mikey's new name is now Mike Turner. Sing the goddamn song, put some stank on it.
crazy work.
Mike Turner. From Nutbush to the sea.
Crazy
Wow.
work. But yeah,
Yeah, man.
that's what my cousin told me earlier. So I was like, damn, it's crazy.
Yeah, who knows the details of the case? The name has been changed to protect the innocent. It could be he was just psycho. A lot of dudes don't have control of their emotions. They never, like, they can't get told no or something. I don't know, man. Shit, I don't
She
know.
said, yeah,
I
she said, good. That's good that you didn't mess with her. You know what I mean? And you didn't take it there with her. Mm, You know,
yeah.
it's
I mean, you
crazy
never
work
know the
out here.
situation. What's the details of the situation? Was it just an argument? Was she was running her mouth in his
Yeah,
face?
like she was running her mouth all up in his face, and
Yeah.
she she got what she got. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my baby sister, she's like that. She her boyfriends always call me, tell me, man, your sister, yeah. I said, yeah, that mouth, don't it? I said, dude, she used to rattle me with that. And then she
Yeah,
like, he hit me. And then I like, what you mean he hit you? He said, yo, she called me all kind of bitches. Then she juke me in her eye with her fingernail. I said, there you go, putting your hands on men again.
it's
So
crazy.
she's calmed down. Now she used to slap dudes, but now she's knocking niggas out for Jesus. She's saved now. I'm gonna bring her on here one day.
Mm,
uh, and let her
crazy
get
work.
down on the live stream. But yeah, she good now. She good now. She don't she
Mhm.
don't get into them troubles no more. But yeah, so you're in Florida.
Yeah, just
You
chilling.
you in Tampa?
Nah,
It's a whole lot of New Yorkers in Tampa.
nah, I'm good with Tampa. It's too much in Tampa.
Do
Too
people
much.
where you at make you say certain words because you from New York? They want to hear like, yo, like my homegirl, but she able to say quarter.
Um,
Say quarter. Do they make you say
no, what
like
it is
demo?
is over here. Like, how can I say it? It's alright. You know what I mean? As long as you mind your business type shit. You know what I mean?
Oh.
It's just
I
alright.
know one thing though, New Yorkers, boy, you could tell people from New York when
Mm.
you go places. New Yorkers complain about everything. This shit, yo, pick any state, South Carolina, a New
Nah,
Yorker.
but they passed
They
that
complain.
law. They
New
passed a
Yorkers,
law. They passed a
New
law over here that you could open carry.
New
You
Yorkers
know.
complain about everything where they at because it ain't New York. Yo, why the store closed so early, son? Yo, what you mean,
Man,
son? Why the club ain't open now, son? What you mean shits ain't open on Sundays, son? Yo, everything is like this ain't in New York, But don't dare ask them, say, yo, if you love New York so much, why you here? Don't say that. That's a whole nother argument. That's how you can always find a New Yorker when they out of town, boy. They always tell you
Nah,
it ain't
but
New York where we at.
like I'm used to it here already. I get my stuff a little early instead of
Well,
going to the store back and forth type shit.
you settled in. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you
yeah,
settled in. New York is
yeah.
in Atlanta. You always can tell, yo. You always can tell. They always like, yo, in New York. And I'm like, yo, come on, man. Yeah, New York, the studio apartment rent is like $3,000. So we know why you here, yo. Shit, you gotta make the best out of it, man. Get
Not
your, like
really,
you
not
said,
really,
stock up.
not really, not really, not
Oh,
really. Don't, hey, man,
you
you
know
could
where
get
some
around.
where's
You
some
could get
low
around.
where's some
You,
low rents at in New York?
man, you'd be surprised.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. Yeah, they got low rent. It's
You'd
called
be
sleeping on the R
surprised.
train. Sleeping on the R train all night. Just keep riding it.
Nah,
It only costs you a token, and you
yeah.
good. Yeah, I love New York though, man. Definitely visiting. To me, it's exciting, wondrous place. My friends up there's always say, and family be like, yo, you always romanticizing this place. I'm like, yo, cause y'all see it every day. I'm not from here. Like, I like this shit. I like the festivals. I like the buildings. I
It's
like the fact that
content.
you
It's
don't need a coat in
content
the
over
winter
there.
time. You just go outside. I'm on the train. I'm off the train. I'm in the house. I'm out the house. I'm back on the train. I'm on the bus. I'm doing something. So
Mm,
definitely a lot of culture. Um, Plus, they New York was a city. I say was, sadly, was a city of innovators. Everything cool, everything hip, everything music, everything came. It was New York, and it still is. It still is. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? I used to sit back and wait for the word of the week to come out. I'm like, yo, what's the new slang word? And the slang words come from New York. How would I know? I would hear it on a mixtape. Yo, we literally mixtape back in the day was actually a cassette tape with a
mhm,
mix on it. So I got WBLS, and the mixtape would just be like Chuck Chill Out or who else, Clark Kent or somebody else on the radio that's DJing, and then you get the mix, and then you hear the little slang words, and I'm outside putting the slang words in the conversation, and people is like, oh, they too scared to ask me what it means because they don't want to seem like they ain't cool. Then all of a sudden they be saying what I'm saying. But now with the internet, we bridge the gap across the whole country, so now everybody's connected. We didn't have this before. Like I said, when
mhm.
think about it, 87 NWA came out. That was like a foreign culture. LA was a foreign culture to most people. They didn't know or understand it. And they assumed things. But with the internet, like, yo, you talking to people worldwide now. Like we keep having people from Australia and stuff and Scotland and everywhere else pop up over here, you know. And so, like I said, I I didn't mean to throw the slur at New York. I'm just saying, like, it's just the whole gang thing, the gang culture, how they took that on. And New York has always been a city. New York was never, never, ever, ever, ever a copycat of anything. And when I saw the gang culture, I was like, yo, say it ain't so. Say
Like
y'all not doing,
you
because
know, you
gangs
know,
died out in New York in the 70s.
you know what I
They
like?
got rid of gangs and they switched over to there was crews, no
No,
more
but
gangs, you know.
you know what I like about like this is anywhere, you can find any type of hustle anywhere, anywhere and anywhere. But in New York, man, what Clark said, I kind of looked some places up, and it's some right places, Clark. Trust me. If you see the comment what Clark said, there's some right places, you know.
What she say? I'm missing stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Clark says, no more tokens on my way car now.
No,
MTA,
no, no, no,
you
not that one. Let me see.
MTA will discount you. I said tokens. Don't you hate when you slip up and you let everybody know you like 100 because you say shit like way back in the day that nobody know what you're talking about? I said
Mm-hmm.
tokens and shit. Like, god damn. In Philly, y'all still got the trans pass?
Trans
Uh,
pass? That's
trans
crazy
pass.
word.
Yeah, for to get on the bus.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Trans
Trans
pass.
pass card.
It's crazy word. That
Yeah,
name,
you gotta
trans
you gotta
pass.
go ride buses and stuff in other cities. It's everything. I wouldn't even know how to get on the bus here. Like last time I got on the bus was like it had been 25 years ago or more, And I was like, where you put the money at? Like, how you do this?
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure now it's cards and some other stuff. Probably just scans your pocket. I don't know.
Mhm.
Josephine said, I know what tokens are. Of course you do. Of course you do. You live in Tupelo, Mississippi. They still got tokens there. Josephine from
What?
Tupelo. That's right down the street, up the
I'm
hill
from.
from One Below. So Subway is still Subway is still faster. You know what though about New York? I found out about the boroughs when I got there. Like, understanding as a little kid, you see New York is always on TV. I never really went to see the family up there. Family unions, they would always come down. I used to assume that stuff was a lot closer in New York. I remember one time, I guess it was Lisette. I lied. I said, yo, I'm in the Bronx. And all of a sudden, like, I popped up in Brooklyn. She like, yo, how the hell you get here that fast? And I didn't know, like, that shit is what y'all say, mad far apart. Like, I thought, like, when people would say Bronx to Brooklyn, I'm thinking, like, oh, yeah, that's like me driving from the east side to the west side. Hell no, man. It's like a whole nother damn world across. Like, I didn't know. So you be riding for a while, going from place to place.
That's the one.
But,
Nah, it was not that one. I know I dropped one.
huh?
No, 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 not you, not you. My fault. My fault. My.
What, you on the phone? So, anyway, man, I'm gonna segue for a second. We was talking about, so the whole thing has been a lot of finance stuff going back and forth. Check this out. Y'all know I kind of went into, I said before you even approach the stock market, get some of the basics down, get you like a budget. Make sure you got your budget tight. Make sure you got 3 to 6 months worth of household savings. That would be everything you pay for basic living expenses times 3 at a minimum. So I kind of went over the basics because a lot of times, we want to jump in the stock market and start ripping and running. And, now I don't want to talk to folks like they're ignorant, but I did say that you should, if you're going to teach or say anything, start with the basics. Now, a lot of you got 401ks, 403bs, 457 plans. Maybe you got them and you still don't know how they work. You know what I'm saying? Because trust me, I talk to a lot of people on the daily. They be like, yo, what is this? I'm like, you putting money in, you don't know what it is. First thing
Mhm.
first, right? A stock. Buying a stock just gives you a piece of the company, making you a shareholder, right? Companies sell stock to raise capital, right? Now, so the question is, why would somebody buy a stock? Why would I want ownership in a company? Well, it's a bit of a trade-off. You buy the company stock, that generates them revenue. When the stock price goes up, the money you invested is worth more, right? And when the company's profitable, they pay dividends, meaning this stock is going to pay you money that you otherwise would not have had if you didn't buy the stock. Now, very, very basic, right? Very basic. Most companies are publicly traded, right? On the New York Stock Exchange. You hear people talk about penny stocks. Always, I would just invest in penny stocks because they're assuming penny means low cost. Actually, it does. There are no stocks that are actually 1 penny. They are low cost, high risk investments. Penny stocks are like these startup companies. They don't have enough to register on a big exchange per se, so they trade over the counter. Y'all saw the movie Wolf of Wall Street when he was in that first little firm and
Yeah,
he was in
it's a
there with
good
all the
movie.
penny stocks
Mhm.
and he was killing it though because he was hustling. He was a good hustler, salesman, right?
I'm gonna watch that
So
movie again.
me too. So the stock price basically is determined by demand in the stock market, right? So you got different types of stock. You got common stock, right? That's the normal stuff you people would buy. I'm going to buy some IBM. I'm going to buy Apple, right? Owning
Mhm.
owning common stock gives you it grants you voting rights and potential dividends. The stock companies do not have to pay out dividends, especially in institutional shares and private portfolios like your 401k. You'll find 1 quarter you're getting a dividend. All of a sudden, you ain't getting a dividend. That's the reason why. And then some stock come in preferred shares. Basically, that just means preferred shares have a higher claim on the company assets, meaning if a company becomes solvent, it goes out of business. The people they're going to pay their creditors first, then they're going to pay their taxes. They're going to go down the line. whoever has preferred stock will get paid next. People with the common stock will get paid last, which means your stock might go to zero and you don't get a damn thing. So these are just a couple of the little basics, right? So one of the things I hear people talking about stocks, but they never tell you how do they choose a stock? Like how do they analyze it, to decide which one to buy? I don't know if I really want to go all into that. So it's a couple of things, right? You got to look at factors like the income statement of the company, their revenues, expenses, and net income, right, over a specific period of time. That's some data. The company's balance sheet. How healthy is the company at this time? Their cash flow statement, their expenses, the price to earning ratio of a stock. So dividing the stock price by the earnings per share, right, is how you get the price to earnings ratio. A lower PE compared to similar companies may suggest a stock is undervalued. So if the price to earnings ratio is low, a company appears to be undervalued, which means people will buy these stocks because they're called value stocks. They'll say, hey, it's a low PE. This company's probably going to explode. That's their belief. And if it does, great. Now you have this stock that just inflated and it's worth a lot more than what you bought before, right? Then I said divided by earnings per share. Earnings per share, calculating that, you divide the company's net income minus any preferred dividends and against the weighted average of outstanding shares. Outstanding shares are all shares of common stock that the company does not have in their possession, meaning if they sell 100,000 shares, then guess what? Those are called outstanding, right? I'm going to stop here. I'm going to fast forward because there could be 20 different factors surrounding how to analyze a stock. So what does that mean? If I spend $500 on a stock and I pick poorly, I could lose a lot of money, right? So what do people do? They buy mutual funds. A mutual fund basically, and I'm going to let this be the last point because this is boring. A mutual fund is basically a collection or a group of fractional shares of stocks or bonds, right? So basically, how the fund works is people pool their money together, right? Many investors are buying into a single fund. The fund manager buys whole shares of this stock, and by being, hey, whoever that was, I just saw you. You can bleep back in. So they buy fractional shares. So when you buy a mutual fund, you're now owning, it could be 30, 40, or 50, like different stocks all in one mutual fund. What does that mean for you? Yeah, you own fractional shares, but your money is now spread across dozens of investments rather than having it all at one, which reduces the amount of risk that you have, right? I'm going to stop it right there because I don't want to talk about financial stuff on a Saturday night. But I just wanted to say all this stuff that you can look up is right online, and and again, individual stocks is a whole science behind that, trying to figure out what's a lot of the information. If you want to know
No,
about
it's
a
good to know.
company's,
It's good to know. It's good to know about that.
yeah,
It's good
if you
to
want to
know. It's
know
good to
about a
know.
company stock, just Yahoo Finance, you could put in a stock name. It'll have all that stuff I was talking about: price per share, price, earnings to ratio, all of that, is right there. So you can find out a lot of information. Again, now, doesn't it sound like analyzing stock is a full-time job? That's because it is. It is. So what do
If
you do as
you gotta know some shit. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
as a smarter person, you
Um,
spread your wealth across many investments, and a mutual fund allows you to do that. And a mutual fund can be all stocks, all bonds, a combination of the two, which is called a balanced fund. It could be based on an index like Standard and Poor's 500. The mutual fund basically will have imagine that. So S&P 500, these are the 500 top companies with the largest capitalization, right? Market capitalization. Now, what would it look like if you tried to buy one share of each of those 500 stocks? How much would that be? So you can
see,
imagine.
man.
So by investing in an index fund, you now own 500 fractional shares of all of those companies, which means you own the index, which means if that index yields 9%, your fund is going to pay you 9%. So as you can see, by diversifying, you reduce the amount of risk within your portfolio and reducing risk, Now you can actually own an entire index. Now it's more affordable for you to do so. And you can enjoy the returns from it that way. Portfolio analysis, a whole nother level. Not going to go into that per se. This is what we talk about, like alpha and beta. I'm going to stop right there. Because why do we need to know portfolio analysis? That's something. If you're at that level where you want to invest, find you a professional financial advisor, go in and talk to them and work out a plan, right? Or educate yourself, right? It's a lot of people I know do well. They educate themselves. They're smart with their money, but it is not, the stock market is not a get rich quick scheme. There ain't no, I'm gonna tell you a couple of things to do, how to invest, and you're gonna run in there and start dumping money, and you're gonna be pulling out thousands of dollars and such. You know what I'm saying? So it just doesn't work like that. You know, it's a lot of work, a lot of analysis. It, again, full-time job. But what you can do, I mean, think about it. I'm just saying, for example, the S&P 500 between 1929 and now has yielded an average of 9.2%. So imagine, right? If I started in 1970 and I put $1,000 into the S&P 500 index fund, right? And my brother, he took $1,000 and started buying and selling individual stocks. You know what I'm saying? He started doing that. Now, I'm holding this fund between 1970 and 1980, right? That means my yield was about 9%. So that $1,000 gave me 9%. I didn't have to do nothing but put this thing in the account and leave it there. My brother was buying and selling stock, buying and selling. He was winning, he was losing, he was making bad ones. He found some good ones, then it was a bad one, then it was things leveled off. Then we hit a recession. Then he did all of this. And then at the end of the day, I guarantee you, if he's lucky, maybe 5 or 6% he pulled down. And you didn't have to do anything. But I'm gonna leave that there. I'm gonna tell you. So go research. I did a whole video on mutual funds on here. Like I said, it's all about the long term. The stock market is it's a weighing machine, not a slot machine. It's basically what I'm trying to say in a nutshell. Let's get off of that. So I'm gonna probably, I think what I might do, but I don't really want to do it. You know what? It is so many fine videos on these items. And I don't mean, I don't look up people that's telling you I can help you get rich quick. Seriously, educate yourself. Some of you have portfolios, study them, understand how they work. You can go in there and see the funds that you own, look it up, you know, for just educate yourself, the basics. Man, sometimes I talk to people at work and they really impress me with their knowledge. Like sometimes they put me on my toe. They start asking me questions and I just be like, what? Like I was talking to a woman and she said, so how many funds in my account? I'm like, you got 6. They chose 6. She says, well, what are the internal costs of this particular fund? And I'm just like, internals? Like you really, like she was sharp. She really wanted to know. And I'm like, it's 0.05. So basically, the fund manager, when they're making changes, like sometimes they'll take weak investments, trade them out of a mutual fund, buy different ones. They'll move funds in and out of this mutual fund. And every time they do that, it generates an administrative cost that is called an internal cost. Now, a good fund manager, by the way, the internal cost you never see. If your fund yields 10%, that means the internals have already been taken out. The yield, the final yield is 10%. Now, a good fund manager, if you look at that fund and you click on it, you can see the turnover rate. If you got a fund manager, thing got like a 500% turnover rate, that means he's just churning things in and out, in and out, in and out. It has now the internal costs are going up. He's trying to get this thing to perform. It's not performing. So sometimes people, I call them analyzers. They call in and they want to know what's the cost of it today? What are the internal costs? What are this? And they start asking me these weird, like they go deep, they do a deeper dive in analysis because some people understand that you could have a fund that's performing well, but it has a high internal cost. And maybe you can find an equivalent fund similar to it run by a different fund manager. Because yes, you can have 2 different index funds from 2 different companies. They're run by different people. And one is doing expense ratio, above of a certain age. One is doing better than the other. They're both yielding 10%. Yeah, but this guy, he has a lower turnover rate, you know, so you're getting the true return. So anyway, I say if you're going to get in it, you know, basically let the thing pay you for retirement. Y'all, you know, you can put your money in and just kind of set it and forget it. Get with a professional if you need to, set it up. And first thing is you want to figure out what is your goal? If you're remember what I said though, if your goal is, well, what if my goal isn't retirement? What if I just want to play in the stock market? What did I say? Only gamble with 5% of your total portfolio. So that means if
Mm,
you have a 401k and that's the only thing you got and it has $100,000 in it, then you should not flip stocks for more than $5,000. Take the $5,000. Basically, it's kind of like when you go to the casino. Well, it's a couple people go to the casino. Some of you say, I'm going in with this $50, and when it's gone, it's gone.
mm.
See, that's the sensible person. That's like the person, I'm gonna take this 5%, I'm gonna play on a side bet with it. And then some people go in this casino with their mortgage money. You know those people. Y'all know them. You
Crazy
know that
work.
one auntie that can't stay out of bingo. Y'all made a homemade pizza down to a science. I love my favorite toppings are pineapple and jalapeno. Oh, I like the pineapple too. Let me find out. Me and Yolanda up here, we got stuff in common. We might be relatives.
What about like the pizza with the ham and what you call it? Pineapple.
Yeah, no doubt, delicious. When
Mm,
I could eat that stuff, every so often though, I sneak and do it. Nobody's around. I get a small, and then I eat the whole thing. But then I gotta go walk 4 miles. But it'd be worth the
mm,
walk, you know.
facts. Facts.
So they said we going in a new direction. We going in a new direction, y'all. See, here's the thing. How many of y'all raise your hand? Aren't y'all tired? Like, aren't y'all tired of the same stuff? Like, aren't you tired of coming into a chat room or going around BlackTube and being in fear that the minute you disagree with some fragile ass person, they gotta go look you up and take your whole life apart? Like, who the hell wants to come on here and deal with that on the regular?
That's kind of
So
crazy.
so
A
I
lot.
say, yeah, as you say, crazy work. So I say
Yeah.
over here, we going, here in the Boring Network, we gonna have it where adults can have conversations and they can disagree and even be a little pissed off, but nobody's going, you ain't gonna have no fear if somebody got it. Now you gotta they gotta call your job because you got into it. And if y'all want to roast and clown somebody, we don't deal with the sensitive people as far as like you clown me too bad. Now I'm embarrassed, so I gotta go out here and do something I gotta call your peoples. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it's at, man.
I'm saying, like, why is that? Why is that? Like,
Well, it
what is,
is.
you
We could
know,
try to diagnose it all day. You know what I'm saying? We could
like
try to and
the
it's
the
not. You
the
know what?
tongue twister, the psychology, not the psychology,
Yeah, we
the
we
psychology. Tongue twister, my guy.
psychological,
Yeah, yeah,
psychological.
yeah.
Yeah, we not trying. See, it's not even important. It's not even important why they do what they do. What's
Mm,
important is let's go to a place where we can, let's set up an atmosphere where we can do what we got to do. You know what I'm saying? And let
mm,
let them But see, I keep saying, I asked again, y'all know earlier I had questions. I said, so again, you wake up in the morning, you decide you hate certain people. You know what I mean? You hate certain
man.
people, and then you decide, right? You come, you're gonna go sign in online, you're gonna get on your little iPhone 14, whatever, sign in online, you're gonna go to a chat room and then wait to get offended. And then on top of that, you're gonna hold on to the offense for 3 years. You did something years ago. I'm still mad at you. So I'm going to research your whole life and take you down a peg because you need to get took down a peg because you're too confident in the man or woman that you are. You got too much money. You're too successful. You're something else. Oh, the chat room is all on pizza. So I say I don't want to do that no more. So if you're a grown ass man and you can't talk to other brothers on the panel because you going to get all bent out of shape and then now you got to be calling people family like, yo, go ahead with that dumb shit. So
That's kind of
again,
weird for me.
yeah, because they not nowhere in life, man. They not nowhere in life, and that's what they do. They not, you know it's kind of like a penis envy thing. You know, it's like, well, I'm not where you are, so I can't do nothing but hate on you. I gotta take you down a peg.
Mm.
So it's like this: if you fragile, if you sensitive, then don't get in the middle of it, because you know we like to joke and we could be men and joke and laugh. When you at with your homeboys and you hanging out and y'all clown each other,
Mm.
you know, and you come outside with some bootleg butters on and shit, and he like, oh my god, yo, them. I'm going Chicago and y'all. Them boots
Mhm.
is bogus, son. They bogus. Oh, robo boot cop wearing ass motherfucker. You know, whatever.
No,
And it's like it ain't never to the point where you want to fight. You gotta throw hands.
no,
You know what I'm
no,
saying?
no.
So I feel like as adults on the internet, y'all might not know each other, y'all might not be homeboys or nothing like that, but it shouldn't be to the point where you gotta throw hands. You know,
That's a
I
fact.
gotta call your job now because you out roasted me. You know what I'm
No.
saying?
No, no, you're right. Because, from where
Yeah,
I'm from, that's what's all about. Like, if you're gonna joke, we're gonna joke. You feel me? Ain't no time to be going to your crib and trying to call your job or none of that extra shit.
yeah.
Niggas ain't got no time for that.
And that right there stops the back and forth, you know.
Yeah.
So now it ain't gonna be a
Nah, but
situation.
you know what too? You got some dudes that do take it personally.
Then
Some
you know what?
dudes.
They
There's
need to
there's
keep
some
they need to
dudes.
then they need to keep their goofy ass out of chat rooms.
No,
Well,
no, no, no.
again,
I'm saying like
again,
in the hood
why?
type shit. You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a couple nuts in the hood. I'm saying, but if you
They
going
take
if
it
you going to freely
personally.
come,
You know what I
first of
mean?
all, what kill me is this: how could I say I'm a professional, I'm a grown man, I'm a grandfather, I'm all this, I'm all that, right? But yet I'm on here and I'm so offended by you that I got to take your revenue, right? It's that bad. You know, I gotta shut you down and miss me with that shit where y'all acting like y'all saving the world and shit. I'm stopping the world from having to deal with the likes of you. No, no, you're not. Yo, let me tell you something. There's 100,000 causes that a person could get into out in the real world to really help people. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
You ain't saving nobody on here. You ain't doing nothing on here by taking somebody's money. You not. And my whole question is I asked years ago, I said, what is everybody's purpose for being here? What is it when y'all go home tonight and you sitting in your bedroom, you know, eating a box of fiddle faddle, watching a rerun of Good Times, you know, ask yourself like, damn, what am I on this internet for? Why am I here every day or twice a week or
Come
three
on,
times a
what?
week? Now, some of you are really healthy people, mentally healthy. Some of y'all will disappear for a few months at a time and kind of unwind. And I can
Hmm.
always respect that. Then y'all come back and that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Josephine, you know you like fiddle. Josephine, you don't like fiddle faddle. Josephine, you don't like fiddle. Josephine, you like fruity pebbles. I know it's either fiddle faddle or fruity pebbles. Which one is it? Josephine, I
I
know you
mean,
like
I
fruity
like I
pebbles.
like I like
So
Cocoa Puff.
you would. Yeah, Cocoa Puffs are cool. So I can't eat none of that. Man, I would love to have a bowl of Crunchberry right now. But she said Dots home style pretzel. So we come here. Matter of fact, let's shift off of that. I'm glad you interjected because we can shift off of that. It's not about, and that's the thing. See, I don't want to get into, I don't want to do that no more. The whole us and them. When you go look at other lives, everything is about, look at them over there. They're doing that. They're doing this. They're doing that. And then the host
Yeah.
is speaking about themselves in third person the whole time. What kind of psycho disorder is that? You know what I mean? Everybody else is wrong. It's them. So my whole question is, and this is what I asked. I asked a question earlier to a youngster. I said, if you're so offended by everything, why do you look at it or why are you involved in it? Like, if this sector, right? I'm gonna say this sector because I didn't want to talk about this sector. If this sector is so bad, so toxic, so debilitating, any word, any negative, nasty word you can think of, why would anybody be here every day? Why? Well, I'm coming here for pure entertainment. I'm innocent and I'm just here to laugh and have fun. But then everything out your mouth is the opposite. Everything you do has nothing to do with any of that. You're here to destroy. You're here to point fingers. You're here to pass judgment. You're here to do everything else. Y'all see the thing is, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Now, years ago, I kept saying, remember when we had an influx of people that showed up and everything out their mouth was just like trying to insult people, be disrespectful. They didn't have nothing to offer over here. They all came in here claiming they started up shit. They were the originators. They're this, they're that. And they came in here and then they start tearing up shit. They started creating factions and all of this and that. And then I kept saying the whole time, like, hey, y'all, we got to get some of the balance back. We can't have the yin without the yang. This shit ain't going to work. Now, look, so they kept telling me, shut the F up. And then you got to the point where everybody done got doxxed to the point where they just stopped coming. Think about it. Snapshot, 5 years ago, was a lot of cool-ass people that was here. Some of y'all had channels where y'all had loyal donors that was paying y'all daily. You know what I mean? And now all that's gone. All of the music, the creativity, all that shit. Because don't nobody want to sit around no toxic bullshit. Right? And if you got some kind of mental disorder where, the doctor's telling you to stay off of here, just stay your ass off of here. Like, you don't need to be on the microphone. You need to be in the chat. And I want to take my time out to personally apologize to everybody I said that you ain't on cam and you just type it in the chat. Let me tell you something. I sincerely apologize. You know why? Because maybe that's the best place for you to be for several reasons. Number one, you might be completely loco and don't need to be on the mic on anybody's camera with your own show. Or two, you really need to protect yourself because you don't need these people on here coming after your family. And y'all done seen it. Some folks done got docs that were anonymous. You know what I mean? So, yo, my respect due to y'all that don't engage. You know what I'm saying? Don't put yourself out there. And I know I used to be heavy on that because I used to always think like, well, who are, and I used to assume that a lot of people, I think my beef was with some of the anonymous people that was always starting shit. You know what I mean? Look at her. Thank you. Let me stay my local ad. See, I rode on YM for about 6 years about like becoming vocal. And then she goes and gets vocal on somebody else's show. But I got news for y'all. Y'all don't know this. But by the end of 2025, YM will be camming up on this panel. You heard it here first. She will be making her national debut right here on my channel. Full on camera. No makeup.
I
Right
put $5 on that.
Right in her $5, right in her kitchen. She gonna be right chair, not left chair, the right chair on cam. She gonna do it one time only, y'all. One time only. But fellas, do me a favor. Please don't start stalking her after that, because y'all know she got that good ass Indian blood in the, you know what I mean? She all exotical and shit. So don't be like, hey yo, did she put her number? Put her number in the private chat. She not doing all that.
She gonna look like Pocahontas.
She got a man. She got a man, and she ain't checking for y'all because y'all was calling her names, and then you find out. It's kind of like when y'all was in, 6th grade, and everybody picked on that one girl with the overbite. Y'all was calling her Bucky and shit. Y'all was teasing her. Then all of a sudden,
not me.
she came
Not
back.
me.
Hold
Not
up.
me.
She came
man.
back. She came back from 7th grade summer vacation, and she was like, boom. She was all like with her little thing, and then all of a sudden, all y'all little boys. A couple of y'all was like, yo, oh, she done grew up a little bit. So y'all was on, we was all in that kind. See, I was never the one to tease them or ride down on them. I'm just like, I'm like, yo, one day they gonna be, so that's gonna be your prom date. You know what I mean? So
crazy work.
You never
right
know.
There.
You never know. You getting into it with a broad on here. You never know what's behind curtain number 2. Right? Now watch they twist what I said.
So you mean to tell me she look like Pocahontas?
Yeah. More like Sally Richardson. You know the actress? Yeah, you know Sally Richardson, right?
Yeah.
She looked like her. She looked like her, but she got like she about 10 pounds more. Yeah, she like her, yo. I'm telling you. So watch, the fella's gonna be like, oh my God, like, nah, yo, don't act like, don't come running up on the panel now. You know what I mean? So, they're gonna be thirsting out here. All of a sudden, she gonna be getting all these cash apps and stuff.
They be the slim
So
goodies.
yeah,
They be the slim
she
goodies.
They be the
slim goodies.
YM came back from summer vacation, put it on y'all. So you never know. You never know.
They be the slim goodies, You
never know.
If you don't know, now you know,
Showing up. But I tell you what though, man, being on live, I don't know if these lights, this studio get hot, son. I got the door open today because I was like, I usually do it with the door closed and the soundproof stuff up. I'm like, yo, it'd be smoldering in here. So yeah, man. So we need to get more shows. I talked about that. I'm gonna keep plugging that till I get at least 12 people that never been on the mic to actually go do their show. I know I kind of just contradicted myself because I said don't do it. And then I
All right,
said,
man.
if you are
I'm gonna
not,
drop down. I'm gonna drop down.
mic dropping down voluntarily. I hear you, bro.
All
Them
right,
pot
man.
thoughts done, right?
Nah. I got
Oh yeah.
some
Short,
chips.
shorty
I got
over.
some
Short.
chips. I got some chips.
So it ain't no shorty over.
No. Ain't no
You
time
mean
for
tell
that.
me
Hey, I can't.
you dipping for some cool ranch Doritos? That's
Yeah.
what this about? All right, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. All right, bro. Thank you
All
for
right.
coming by. Thank you for coming through.
All right, man.
All right, Shona. All right, so don't get it twisted, y'all. Like I said, if you over here, I know I said it ain't no rules and guidelines. I mean, if you up here, you up here, you can talk about whatever you want to talk about. Y'all know me, I'm not in the business of dropping a whole lot of names. You can drop, if you want to drop a name, go ahead and drop it. I just had to come on and say what I had to say. But yeah, I thought about that whole financial thing, but I'm just like, nah, man, I can only keep it to the basics. Plus, I said I got to get clearance for all of that. You know, if you go too deep, and by the way, nothing I said tonight is deemed or taken as advice. I just had to be clear. I almost forgot that little disclaimer. It's kind of like when y'all say fair use, when y'all use their thing. Give them their Cash App back. Yeah, I was cruising around the YouTube avenues. It was getting heated. I got accused of getting money from somebody, you know, or somebody was padding the pockets. Let me tell you something. Not even close. I don't get money around here. I don't know who is getting money, and I don't know what they. Now I know what you can do to get money. You can keep the narratives going. You can keep the you can do the Jerry Springer around here, and you can make a lot of money off of that. You know, give us some financial observations, just a 5 or 10 minute segment. You know what? You're smart, and I considered it that way. Maybe just packaging it up. Maybe I even thought about producing like a video, like a little blurb or something, and just throw something together, maybe some animation or something like that. You know, maybe use this AI, put it to some good use. You know, because everybody today was all talking about my muscles and the AI. You know, the dude say, "Man, why you do that? Because you don't look like that. How you know I don't look like that? How you know? I look just like that. It's just I told y'all they just got my skin tone wrong. I try to tell y'all. That's me in there. I took mine and I did exact copy of myself, and I went on the thing. Yeah, no doubt, man. So, and you know what though, Yolanda, the finance stuff. I believe again. I think starting with the basics. You know what got me into it? Believe it or not, Susie Orman. Why Susie Orman and not why Dave Ramsey? Well, I listened to Dave Ramsey for a few minutes. Well, one, Susie Orman has financial licenses. So that right there means I'm going to listen. Two, well, she explains things well. She's very charismatic. She had a show on CNBC. Like, I'm just saying, like, sometimes you know, it's kind of like in spiritual circles when you're going to select a guru, you know, you got to make sure you got the right one. So definitely you can find you a financial guru. What did I say? Rule number one, they got to have a financial license. I don't want to hear. It's like everybody was like life coaches out here and shit. I'm a life coach. I had a homeboy. I don't care if you hear this, calling himself a life coach. I said, how you a life coach and your mama pay your rent? How that work? Maybe your mama should be the life coach. You know what I mean? That's crazy. I said, boy, I wish my mother would think about writing me some damn check. That ain't gonna happen. I wouldn't take the money. You know what I mean? But yeah, so Dave Ramsey cut us all your credit cards. People go crazy. Yeah, they go. Yeah, all that. I told you about him though. Like I said, he go around. He's like, well, I'm a Christian. People that work with my company can't date each other. He got all this weird ass shit going on. And then, like I said, you around there at black churches speaking to them, and you say Jesus a few times. Black people would just do. They see a white person saying Jesus, they just bow right on down. And then he takes all y'all and funnel you to these financial advisors, and he gets a kickback for that. Gets a finder's fee. Now the question is, that's another thing too. When you select a financial advisor, it's got to be a right fit. It can't, and trust me, all of these things are important. You can't just go, well, he spoke to my church, so he gonna put me with the right person because the Lord is gonna find a way. See, they mix all that in. That's pimping Christianity to reel you in. Man, if I suddenly did that, going to these pastors saying, I want to talk to your church and I want to talk about, financial literacy and we want to do some sermons, the pastor gonna be happy because guess what? That's gonna increase his revenue. He's gonna tell me, well, I'm gonna have to collect an offering for them getting your speech. He gonna get paid. I'm gonna get paid, but I can't do nothing like that because I would have to have, unless I was an independent, then I could go do that. And I get everybody in there, give me all their money, all of their portfolios, and life would be good. Now, let me tell you a secret though, right? My accountant, a very dear friend of mine, all the way back, right? She wanted me to work with her, and she says, I want you to run the office. I want you. And I'm like, I said, I ain't really I don't know about taxes. Like, that's not my thing. She's like, yo, I'll send you to school. We can do this. We can hit the road. She wanted to get a tour bus, hit the road. And I told her, I said, yo, we could really turn this into something. So imagine if me and her, right, went around to churches and big old mega churches or small churches or whatever, and we were really honestly sincere about helping these people. Yo. And we did it the right way. No scams, no skimming money, no Ponzi, no pyramid. And we did it the right way. Can you imagine that untapped resource? Like imagine one church with 10,000 members. And then now all of a sudden they're coming to us. We're doing all of their financial planning. We're doing their taxes. We're doing the budgeting. We're doing the investment portfolios. And it's nothing to be an independent. I could get linked up with a larger company and I'm just basically using their platform to onboard people, right? So imagine that, the business we could have grown. Now, we talked about it, but some snags, life happened, never really got around to it. But just imagine we could have built, and by the way, y'all, there are a few Black investment firms. Now, I'm not going to tell you to go see, I would never in a million years say, yo, you'd be better with a Black advisor. That's not what I'm going to tell you. Because as far as I'm concerned, money is money and your color does not matter. Now, in some cases, I don't know, maybe having a Black doctor is some kind of benefit. Yeah, especially when they're putting you on those European charts and they always tell you you're overweight, but a Black doctor might say, nah, you just, you're a big boned person. We have a few extra pounds. I don't know. But as far as your advisor, unless it's a personality thing where you click well, but me, I say you got to find the right match of a person. I would say something like this. If you're older, maybe you want an older person, but what you're looking for is somebody that's honest, somebody that has a track record, testimonials, like they have success rates. You need to, well, let me, what are your client portfolios looking like? Well, how are you doing? How are they doing? What feedback do you get? You know what I'm saying? So just a couple of things when looking and searching out here. But yeah, man, that could have really been something. Now, of course, a person could do that and do it the wrong way. Matter of fact, there was a guy here who had he had an investment firm, Black guy. Guess what? Okay, all these high-end luxury cars, got a wife, about 5 girlfriends, using the company funds, all of that stuff just went haywire, went crazy. And then of course, he was gone before I knew who he was. Friend of mine used to work for him that got me into it. Schadenfreude to an extent. I can understand the utter happiness in someone's downfall for days on end is sadistic. Oh, y'all on that. Okay. Visual. If a person called my job, got arrested, I might celebrate. However, would I really just want them to move on? I would be happy that they are arrested so that way they can be out my face. Who's celebrating that, doing so because they got embarrassed by? See, and at the end of the day, I said, what is the motive? Like we have a tendency, and I use the word we loosely. We have a tendency around here that even when people are moved on from this space, their names still ring out. Y'all could, you could sign out tomorrow and come back in a year. Your name is going to be ringing out all the way till you get back. And that's why I kind of pride myself on not doing the name drops, because for that reason. Like, damn, it's too many names as it is. You know, and at the end of the day, I did used to bust a few people out. I'm saying, yo, y'all, you would do anything for clout. Some folks will sell their soul. You know, like I will sit up here and host a panel and entertain nonsense because I'm getting paid. You know, yo, I'm here because utterly there's nothing going on, and I feel like people need to be entertained. I dropped that link, man. If y'all got anything to say at all. How long we been rolling? I ain't looked at the counter. Oh, an hour and 32 minutes. I usually give it a good hour. You know what I mean? But I guess if I was talking about narratives and things like that, it would I guess it would draw, people would want to. But see, my whole thing is I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it where you watch the same two people go back and forth on. They already been on 16 different panels with the same. You talked about my kids. You said this. You said, and I just don't. I can't do it. I can't do it. I know y'all. I'm like, don't you want to have one place you can go where you ain't got to see that? Same old stuff over and over. And I keep asking, what do you want? Now, some people say, well, you ought to apologize. How many times you seen apologies go out around here and then the person blows you up anyway? How are they going to let you apologize when their whole identity is built on them being a victim? How many times you see people say, thank you, DC. How many times you see people say, uh-oh, Wolfman Jack. Welcome
What's
to the
up,
panel.
Wolf? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, what's good, my Wolf?
Man, I'm just up here, I'm the same old soup, just reheated,
Yeah, I mean, let's switch it up, man.
No, I might
Talk
Jesse
about
Jackson
other,
trying to
talk
keep
about
hope
other
alive.
shit.
Yeah,
You know
no
what I
doubt.
mean? So,
Let's get in.
yeah, let's talk about the album, man. Since I put that shit out, I've been talking about that shit for like 5 years. Now I got a chance to put that shit out, and the motherfucking sector just going to crazy. And I'm just like, damn, we were supposed to be focused on the real music. That's what motherfuckers wanted. Like, yeah, I mean, you rapping over all these other Jones. Where your shit at? Now my shit is right there, 13 free tracks. You know what I'm saying? What's up with it? What motherfuckers think about that joint? I already know what you think about it, but yeah, like, you know what I mean? Shit like that, little shit like that, just to distract us from all the bullshit that's going on. Just something, you know what I mean, new, fun. Because the album is definitely fucking fire. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody who has the 450 people that, oh yeah, I'm quadruple platinum out this bitch. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, but no, what's like what songs you liked on the album? I love them all, me personally, but yeah, I mean,
I got old timers disease, so I liked everything I heard. I
yeah,
got
that
it.
that's
I need a refresher though. Like, didn't you send me a link to download it?
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like the people who I let hear it on the street, they be coming up to me like, yo, I love this, with that. I just be like, holy shit, that's what's up, man. You know what I mean?
Oh, I
And
like
it's
the
it's just
one. I like the one when don't put your Joe tell your Uncle Joe don't put your hands on my son no more. Yo, that joint.
oh, you talking about he said Uncle Joe.
Yeah, Uncle
No,
don't put.
yeah, you talking the baby mama drama joint, that real
Yeah,
shit, that
yeah,
child support, you know what I'm saying, that at 18 shit. You know what I'm saying? Staying there as a single teenage father. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the deadbeat mothers and deadbeat fathers and shit. You know what I mean? But anyway,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I
that's
gotta, I
definitely
gotta. I'm gonna start bumping it again. I want to hear it again.
yeah.
And actually gave me an idea. Matter of fact, now you kind of inspired me. It's like, okay, we done did the parody thing. I did the parody thing to death. It's tied now, so it's
No,
time to.
you just no. Whoa. You're just starting. You are
Oh,
just starting. Yeah, and you're definitely out of control. Like you doing what I did when I first got here. Just flooding us. Like every time I fucking check my jaw, I see something new out of no matter what the hour is, morning, evening, or night. Like I said, oh, Bombay on that shit that I was on back in the day. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like, so me personally, I feel like, and when you feeling like this, you gonna be on fire until you decide to turn that shit off. You know what
yeah.
I'm
It just
saying?
it's like new ideas keep popping up. You know, a lot of he said Beatles said, hold now, you can't stop. A lot of that was I've already revealed the secret. You know, I told people ever since I've been here, when in the beginning they said my mixes sounded terrible. So I use every opportunity to keep making music to get better. So lately, in the last year, I just been trying to understand vocal arrangements. When I started getting like the multi-tracks for these songs from the 80s, I started listening to how they would mix these songs. I'm like, yo, I like that. Then I started
Mm.
listening to like vocal arrangements, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna start seeing if I can learn how to do arranging, you know. So, like I said, with me, it's all a practice of getting
You
better
just
at these things.
and we loving this shit. It's like, yo, you know what I'm saying? While you just sitting down practicing this shit.
You know what? I like what she just said. She said you could do parodies on bigger personalities and events. You know what though? I'm glad you said that because if I start doing that, it makes it that's something that then it goes beyond these four walls. You know,
Exactly.
like it's something that could really expand. Like it could something that could be viral. Matter of fact, I
Now
think
we
I'm gonna do
thinking.
yeah, I think I'm gonna do that and put it on the put it like on the yeah, I'll leave it on this channel. I don't want to do that because if I put on the Bombay channel, it'll be copyright. But the thing is, that's something that can go viral. You know, like somebody said the other day, you remind me of Weird Al Yankovic. You know, with that, like I
Hmm.
said, he made a whole career out of that. You know, just doing. He was the first
Absolutely.
one. You
Yep.
know, made a whole career. Because who was that telling me? Was that somebody on my panel? See, this is my disease, man. Somebody on the panel telling me they watched. They went to a concert. He was at. No, that was it. Who was that telling me that? Was that somebody on my panel saying they went to a concert he was at recently? And I didn't know
Yeah.
he's still touring.
That was Rev G saying that to you.
Okay, yeah, he did say Kansas. Yeah, he said that. And
Yeah.
that's crazy because I had no idea that man was still out here doing it.
Hey,
Chris,
shit, that's what they do. People, what I just seen the bull Mario. I don't know if you remember the young singer Mario. They said this nigga. They say he's a millionaire without actually being in the. I said, huh?
yeah,
But
he owed me
hey,
money. He-
what?
nah, he
Who
owed me. No,
Mario?
he owed me. Yeah, he his aunt bought his car to my shop one time, and she was like, "Oh, this Mario BMW, he need an inspection and all this, right?"
Oh,
So she talking about they be hooking him up. The barber was like, "I'm gonna hook you up because you Mario, you getting a free hair." I was like,
yeah.
"Shorty," I said, "Shorty, nah, if you would have came in here and said he was like a 8th grade chess champion or something, or he won a national
Oh,
spelling bee, I'd be like, yo, I'm gonna look out for, I'm gonna hook you up. Yo, this guy, I'm like, yo, he about to get a contract, he about to get paid, and then so what
yeah.
happened is his his girlfriend bought the car up there. Some girl named Lorraine Diaz. I said it out loud just in case he hear this. Lorraine Diaz bought the car, and everything failed but the tent, right? So I said, yo,
I'm a mute. I'm listening. I'm a mute. I'm a mute.
I said the
I'm
tent
out.
was too all right, the tent was too dark, right? So they went and got it. I tested. I said it's too dark. So she said, "Oh, ain't nothing you can do. He Mario." I said, "No, Mario need to take this tent off." So she said, "All right, well, we gonna go get it took off. I'm gonna come back." And I forgot to collect the money from the little girl, and she rolled out. And I called his aunt. I was like, "Yo, y'all ain't paid for the junk. That was on me because I can't believe I handed them the keys." And that's why I was like, I said, "Mario, you owe me $60. From that inspection that that 5 Series BMW from back in the day. That was a
Oh,
long ass time ago.
keep
So
going.
I
I'm
laugh.
crying.
Yeah, I laugh at that now. So yeah, I don't play that. I'm like, I'm like, dude, I know people in the business bigger than you. Like, no, man, ain't none of that. You don't get nothing free. I don't play that. Yo, I don't care you Janet Jackson. I need your credit card. Shit, control. I need your credit card. Shit. Like you celebrity, you get stuff free. Yeah. If you buying clothes and you wearing Dolce Gabbana's or Donna Karan's late of spring line of men's suits. Of course, you advertising for them. You ain't advertising for me. And what you gonna put me on the next album and shout out my shop? Shit. So anything good for him. He's still out here moving and shaking. That's good. That's good. I was still disgruntled. I'm glad I said it out loud. I feel a lot better. Mario, I'm gonna go ahead and wipe the books clean. You don't owe me the 60 no more. I'm wiping the books clean. But that's back when I used to be a state inspector though. Man, so people always came in. My cousin, he was mad too because his tent failed. I'm like, he's like, cuz you got my dude, you know, man, I don't do those, yo. I don't do them hookups. I did when I first was working for other people. You know, I was patting my pocket a little bit, but then, you know, you got kids coming. You can't be out here breaking rules. And that's what I'm saying now. That take me back to the internet. So yeah, hey, pro, drop that link to me again so I can save it all the way. I played it and I'm like, I don't know if I could have downloaded it in my phone. I think I did, but I got a new phone. And it should have transferred over, but you know how it is. Like you go do the data transfer and move from one phone to another. So let me get that link again. I do want to do some real music too. At least start maybe get back into doing some kind of production. But nowadays, it depends on what you're doing when you're doing production. Like, you know, I'm not trying to make beats that sound. I hate beats. Make songs. I don't make beats. Make songs that sound like what's out now, but just trying to do my own thing. Because I never rolled with the crowd as far as what people say. You know, you got to sound like today. Because I remember I was sounding like the 2000s and the 90s, and people used to laugh at my tracks. They was like, yo, why you got all them Arabian sounds and all that bullshit? Why you got the kick drums playing melodic tunes? And then here it is, here come Neptunes, did the same shit. All of a sudden they blowing out. That's why I say you can't said T.M.K. name dropping. You can't listen to what people say. You gotta do your music. Like around here, you know, people used to clown. I don't know who started it. Matter of fact, who was the first person? I think Red Pill, first person said, oh, he sound like Cool Mo D. I was like, God damn. So anybody with a deep voice that rap, you sound like Cool Mo D. But I did say this the other day. I said, yeah, I'll be Cool Mo D, the first battle rapper ever. Like, yo, for real. Like, I take that. That's a compliment, actually. But they meant it's more so. One person said, I can remember the person too, said sound like Curtis Blow. I mean, y'all basically comparing me to pioneers in the rap game. And I'm gonna tell you something. If somebody calls you Melly Mel, Curtis Blow, Cool Mo D, they're really paying you a compliment. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem with hip hop is they always think like it's the latest thing is the best thing, and it's not. It's not the latest thing. And I do. And the flip side of that is, I think, and I'm gonna say this against myself. I gotta stop discrediting the new music, saying like being critical of it because you on a train, that's a different sound, you know.
No,
And it
no,
might
no,
be
no. I'm walking down the street, but no, I still want to laugh at when I said the boy Murray. You said that nigga owe me money.
yeah, yeah.
Hey, hey, yo, wait.
And
So how long ago was that?
that was that had to been 2000. When was the that was 2007? I think it was 7. It was right around, I want to say right around the time of that whole, I don't want to call it a recession. I call it a stock market bubble. It wasn't. I hate a lot of people keep saying, they call me up and talking about, yo, remember when the stock market crashed? I say, yo, that's a dirty word. Don't say crash. It didn't crash. That was a bubble bursting. That's a whole different thing. Like when my kids used to say, I'm hungry, I'm starving. I say, yo, that's a curse word in this house. Don't say starving. Starving is I change you to the water heater and left you down there for 2 weeks. Then you'd be starving. Don't say that. Talking about they starving.
Wow. I mean, starving is a harsh word.
Yeah,
But
it's over. We tend to over exaggerate. I always felt like,
yeah,
I'm like, man, there's people in the world that's really starving. I'm like, nah, I ain't that damn hungry, But
and no, that's what I'm saying though. Like when you said that though, it's like that's why I said starving is like a harsh word because people really don't be knowing that the power is in the word or in
yeah,
they tongue. So we be saying words that, you know what I'm saying, we don't even be know we be, cursing ourselves or, just putting out in the world. Like like what they said, being broke is a mentality or something like that, but poor is, you know what I'm saying? Something like that.
Yeah, poor is the mentality, I guess. You
It was
know,
one of them
like you're
Jones.
thinking. I thought of taking a couple of beats I did and repurposing them. Like shit I did on other people, just take that shit, redo it, step it up, revamp it, remix it, or come up with some new stuff. I don't know what'll come out of me now. I haven't turned the keyboard on in so long. Like I don't know what'll come out, but I just do because every so often my brother, he always called me talking about, yo, I'm doing a new album. I'm like, dude, why you need me? Like my joint is old. He be like, yo, you got a different sound. I need something different. He's like, I can get any
Right.
producer. I just need a different sound. So and some
Right.
MCs like to mix their album up. They don't want all one producer. I don't want all Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis doing the whole damn album or Quincy Jones. I want different people.
That's why my album sound like that, because it's different producers. What's up, bro? It's different producers, and it just bring like different styles out of my
Now,
spirit when I hear it. How much is it?
if your producers got if any of that is in acapella, I would love to see if I do a remix on one of them. See what I come up
Oh,
with.
okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
so that way
okay.
I
I
can
get
I
you.
get my practice back in again, the acapella. Because I mean, yeah, I could strip the acapella out of it, but it's not the same. It'll be low
Right.
quality. So
No, for real, for real. That's what my brother used to always tell me, and I never listened to him. Like, but he would every time me and him would go to the stew. Oh yeah, and that extra voice that you hear on the album, through the album, that's my brother. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean. He always told me to, yo, every time you go to the stew, hit your acapellas. And when I'm just now coming into music, I'm just like, for what? All I give a fuck is about the rhyme. He like, but I ain't standing though. I ain't understand it though. He like, you know what I'm saying? He's like, your acapellas is your rhyme. Like, I'm just like, no, all I care about is the song. I don't care about that extra, shit that you telling me right now. Like, I didn't, even when he was telling me, yo, we could put your acapellas on different beats instead of just this one. But in my head, I'm like, no, I want I, I wrote this specifically for this. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, I'm gonna start getting my acapellas and you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Yeah, we can have fun like that.
yeah, that would be cool. Plus sometimes it's funny to hear your stuff reinterpreted. You know,
Yeah.
like like if you should do one track on the next one like an unplugged track, all acoustic instruments. Write a song to a whole acoustic track.
Yo,
You know how they
listen,
do. Who
I
started
don't
that, by the way? Was
I
it
I
Jimmy Jam?
have hmm, I don't know. But I don't know if y'all heard Michael Jackson over trap beats, man. That shit is fire.
Wow.
Yo, you never heard Michael Jackson over trap beats.
No.
Yo, all them Jones. He kills every last trap beat. Every last trap beat, and his acapellas fit because Mike is unorthodox. Every just type in Michael Jackson trap beats. That's all. And y'all
If
gonna hear he be killing it. Go ahead, my bad.
if Mike was still alive, he'd probably be doing songs over trap beats.
Uh, hmm,
He would have did at least. He would have
hmm.
had one. He would have got one producer to come in and do something. I know because remember you know how he is. He'll hear a song he like. He'll take it from an artist and do it. Or if
And that's
he would want a certain person to be on the
he
record
will
with him.
put he.
Like
That's what I'm saying. Even and because I was just thinking that too, because I was just listening to his last song when he was still trying to stay relevant. Well, he always gonna be relevant, but just still trying to make. And that shit is hot too. The and I sound like Mikey and shit. uh, what's the song? With him and Chris Tucker. No, is it "Give It to You"?
Yeah, yeah. I know the song. I heard the tune. I caught the tune.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. But I think that was his last. I could be wrong, but that was his last like song trying to give us for that year or whatever. Because I can't remember nothing else that he came out with. But
Nah,
him
rest
over
in
him over
peace.
them trap beats, him over them trap beats. Every smooth criminal, dirty Diana, he killing them all. I said, oh my god.
Another idea.
And yeah, so yeah, back to you just being on fire with these songs. That's how I was back in the day. I would just act on the idea that I would get if I had a problem with somebody in the sector or whatever, and I just be like, all right, I'm gonna do this beat, I'm gonna do this beat, I'm gonna do this, and you doing it the same way. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause the ideas just won't stop dropping in your head. You don't even be thinking about the fucking sector
It's
and the idea dropping your head.
yeah, they're but see the people are the inspiration because like yesterday, right? I saw the day before yesterday, I saw a live and I said, damn, dude, like I'm getting flamed on this live, right? And I said, man, I wasn't
Hmm.
gonna do no more songs. I was trying to do just live.
Ah.
And then I was like, all right, I gotta drop this, right? So I said, man, what tune? I was sitting upstairs saying to myself, like, what tune? And then the Jamiroquai popped in my. It's like I channeled him. He said, here, use this. And then all of a sudden it was like I wrote I always write the lyrics the night before, and then I record it during the daytime. Like I'll do bits and pieces when I, on break or whatever. And then it's like, got into the end, and matter of fact, I put a comment to JJ. I said, JJ, did you clip that live? And JJ didn't answer me. I almost reached out to Carrie, like, Carrie, did you record that? But Carrie ain't been around. So I ain't want to be bothering her with that. She might be somewhere relaxing. So I said, damn, I ain't got no, I need content for this bridge. And lo and behold, here was another live in progress while I was actually mixing it down. I said, oh, let me just start. Oh, there it was. That's why you hear the same live on the song. Matter of fact, the song
You
came
acting
out
right in
on
the
the live.
moment.
The live was still on, and the song and part of the live was on the song.
That's what
Y'all
I'm
look at
telling
it.
you. That's that calculation that I used to be on. That's what I
Yup.
mean. I said, yeah, I was there
And,
before, man. I said, yo, bomb on it, and I don't know why, but nigga, go ahead, whatever.
and then it just and there it was. It's like, and it writes itself. It's like, yo, all you got to do, it's like the same way a person will go live and talk about a narrative on somebody or roast somebody. I'm like, yo, you just take the roast. They giving you the material.
That's
They like, they saying
that's
crazy
it.
shit. They doing goofy shit. And you just write it down. Now it's a song,
It-
you know?
that's simple. That fucking simple, man.
Nature. Why
See what I
does he do it that way?
mean?
He don't roast the right way.
Oh my
Yo,
god.
let me for the crowd, let me tell y'all something. All right. A lot of y'all might not know. Y'all know about vocal ranges. You got people who sing in baritone ranges, right? And then you have do 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 do. You got the bass singer in the song, right? And then you got the tenor. The tenor's like, hi, I'm the tenor. Then you have a first tenor, I am tenor, right? Now,
This
those are
nigga know
what we
how to
call
sing.
natural ranges. I'm making a point, right? Those are what we call natural ranges, right? So the high end of my natural range, my range is it's a 4-octave range. The high end is like a first tenor, like halfway up that scale, right? So that Jamiroquai song. Now, falsetto is like what you would hear me on like telling a lie. Oh, he's telling a lie, telling a lie. That's a falsetto. That's basically a male impersonation of a woman's voice, like a soprano, right? Now, Jamiroquai, that's at the high end of my range. Man, I was pushing that to get that out. And I was like, I don't want to. It's one song I did where I'm flipping between the high end of my natural range and falsetto, like back and forth. Because with some of that Michael Jackson stuff, I can't. He's in his natural range hitting those higher notes, and I can't. So I got to do it as a falsetto. people that sing understand what I'm talking about, but that damn Jamiroquai, the whole thing, it's like, yo, it's like you're literally like pushing all the air, like holding it in your nasal cavity, trying to get this natural to come out. That's why a couple of those notes will crack, and I'm just like, yo, it's a novelty song. I'm not trying to make it perfect. You know what I mean? And it's funny. You know what I mean? It's funny. But it's funny. I look at those songs, those parodies, man. Some of them are like 500, 600 damn views. I'm like, yo, and I'm like, who is playing this song over and over and over and over and over? I realized I made one mistake. When I did the song Hot Wife, one back in the day, y'all, Studio 54, I was never there. I wish I was old enough to have visited that club. Probably wouldn't have been able to get in anyway. But they would have things called disco mix. Like it'd be a 12-inch disco mix. Like you might have matter of fact, the Tramps had a song called what was that? Burn, baby, burn this mother down. Burn, baby, burn that mother down. Yo, it's a disco mix of that that's 15 minutes long. Now, why would somebody make a record and mix it to be 15? Because the DJs are playing songs and people are dancing. So the DJ might put that song on, go to the bathroom, go get a drink. So we had these disco mixes. When I did Hot Wife, I used the disco version of Hot Shots. And that shit is 8 minutes long, which is way too long. That was like, I should have just used like a condensed version or chopped it down. Because people don't sit that long. Y'all not dancing. So you probably ain't gonna hear no song 8 minutes long. But people probably was like, the original, if you're an old head, you probably know the original matter of fact, Hot Shots is the original by what's that woman name? Jesus Christ. She passed on now. She was from Canada. But that was the turn up, yo, at Studio 54. If y'all ever heard Damon Wayans talk about that, how Grandmaster Flashcat making it go hot shots, hot shots, hot shots, hot. He kept rotating it back and forth. Anyway, y'all, when I have my retirement party, I wanted to be with a disco theme. I want a disco retirement party.
Hold on. Yo, can
But
you hear me,
music,
yo?
yeah, I can hear you.
Oh shit, I'm still no, cause my phone went out. But no. You said something about the DJ going to get a drink and all like yeah. Oh no. Let me say this first. Bomb. We don't care,
Oh,
my nigga. All that shit you just. I'm trying to get back. I'm trying to get back. Okay, there we go. Bomb. We don't care, my nigga. We're gonna watch whatever you put out. So all that shit you just said, my nigga. Cool. We understand. We don't give a
yeah,
fuck. You know what I'm saying? That's why I rap over the phone. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, he used to
Motherfucker.
the dude, the hater used to try to say that about you, man, he on the phone and and I'm just like, I said, yo, ain't nobody going to no studio. I'm the only one that's going to go full studio doing a parody production. You know what I mean? In here mixing stuff down. And that's just boredom and practicing. That's all it is.
Right. So you know what I'm saying, but that's what I'm saying. Like, so when y'all hear the album, y'all hear me in the fucking studio at my best, at my peak. And matter of fact, I still got more. I'm supposed to be going to the studio in a couple of days to lay some more fire, so I can bang that shit on my birthday and let y'all hear this shit. But no, Bon, listen, man, I enjoyed the convo, and I'm about to turn up, man. It's Libra season, man.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. The scales.
Yeah. Y'all, hey, dysfunctional family, man. Y'all be good. Everybody be safe. I love y'all. Bomb, let's keep the change going. I'm
All
out
right,
of
man.
here.
Thanks for coming through. Peace. So y'all, we'll go ahead and get ready to wrap things up. I'm not alone. And I ain't trying to be sleeping on the couch and all of that. So I dropped the link one more time just in case anybody had anything, last words, final words, which will be probably my final words. Yeah. So I noticed something. I switched up the content, and y'all saw me put up my wall post talking about who unsub. I was saying at one time, and then it was like another sub drop. See, the thing is, I keep forgetting this time of year, YouTube, what they do, they purge a lot of inactive subs from your channel. Like I went up to like 480, now I'm at 475. And I do notice that sometimes when I do certain content, you know, sometimes people, oh, I don't like you. You whip my ops or whatever, and they'll just kind of, roll out on you. And that's cool because again, like I explained to the young dude earlier, I'm not here. It's not about the subs and the views and all these other things. We live out in the real world. We're not, on YouTube per se, making a career out of it. At its best, YouTube should just be a sideline. Now I ain't gonna lie, it would be cool if I could finally find the right niche to get into, something that could take off. That would be great. I mean, you get a little $100, $200 a month, whatever. Hey, that's nice. Little pocket change for yourself. But the whole thing, the problem is, during the pandemic, everybody ran out buying microphones. Everybody wanted to have a podcast. Everybody's coming on here talking. So it's a lot of competition. Now what happens is a lot of people will sell out. They'll say, well, I'm going to be a conservative, a black conservative, and I'm just going to ride down on black people because the coon train is moving full steam ahead. And by the way, this ain't a slur to you being conservative. I got news for y'all. If you grew up black, most of you that grew up as black people, you were conservative, period. So it's nothing new. Being a black conservative is not like some new animal. We were that all along. The point is that you got these people that they try to placate and pander to the majority, and they will come on here and they say, that's going to be my lane. Well, if you notice, if your thing is based on untruth, based on something not your real heart, your real soul, it's not going to persist. It's not going to last long. Look at Candace Owens. Okay, she was doing that, right? I'm beating up on black people, and I'm doing good. And then all of a sudden, she said something about them people cross the water over there with the tiny hats on. Then all of a sudden, her ass got fired. Now she's back on whatever. So like I said, you got to make up, like basically if you decide you want to deal in being a shock jock, dealing in negativity, nothing is going to persist. And that's the same thing about this place here. It can't persist. You can't have all negativity. How many times you going to be in a sector of 20 people and beat up on the same 20 people? How many times we going to say Carrie name over and over? She's not here. She's not saying nothing. How many times we going to drag that bullshit over and over again? Like, it gets after a while. Come on, y'all. We need to do something else. So that's here we are. The something else. Oh yeah, Candace on. Yeah, she's still doing her thing. But that whole I'm beating up on the black people, that stuff, man, that get old. And then remember when she got fired, all of a sudden she tried to like smooth up the black colored people for a little bit, and then all of a sudden, she was out here looking crazy. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up because we definitely I think 2 hours is enough. Personally, I enjoyed the time here. I don't know what the hell we've been talking about all this time. I couldn't tell you. I'm thankful for the panel guests that came through and gave it up. Gave it up for the dude. I have another couple of different segments planned for these shows. Again, I'm working out the kinks. I'm trying to fine tune some things. I'm trying to make it more of a formal deal. I'm sitting here stalling y'all because I'm trying to get my assets together. Damn, I did have my clothes. I gotta close out, right? So where my joint at? Oh, I see it. Right in front of my face. I got old timers disease. So let me check. All right, so y'all still rolling. So you said go on replay at the beginning. Yonda, I'm glad you came through. Would have loved to have had you up on this panel though, but that's okay. I'm just glad that you were able to make it. So I leave y'all with the words of peace and tranquility. Namaste.